when you're busy solving everybody else's problems, then all of a sudden your problems start to pile up and pile up and pile up. And that is when you see that huge burnout and you see you see that snap, right? Where you can just tell you're about to explode at any given second. Um and that is not a healthy place to be. You do not want to be at that point. And I use a metaphor like cuz I've been in that place many times. And it's not, just a one-time thing. Like it is a constant conscious thought to make sure that my own personal needs are being met, that I am taking self-care days, that I am focusing on what fuels me, fills me up, and allows me to feel rested and listened to and heard and seen. If you're ready to create a salon business that thrives, but also aligns with your values of clean, holistic, and sustainable practices, then you're in the right place. Whether you're just getting started on your journey or you're already running a successful salon but crave more impact and clarity, this podcast is for you. I'm going to dive deep into mindset, systems, and strategies that help salon owners like you grow and scale your business while staying true to your purpose. Every week, we are going to have real conversations about the challenges, the successes of running a holistic salon. And I'll give you my insider tips. So if you're ready to transform your salon into a powerhouse of purpose, profit, and peace, let's get started. Welcome back to the Impactful Salon Owners Podcast. I'm your hostess, Jacquelyn Rodriguez. And today we are going to talk about a common thing that I hear from salon owners and stylists all over, which is burnout and just feeling overwhelmed and honestly ready to get out of the industry. So, in this episode, I'm going to talk about how you can overcome burnout in the beauty industry by I'm going to share my practical strategies for how I protect my boundaries, my energy, building mental and emotional resiliency. And this is so important for salon owners and stylists who feel like you're running on empty and you're wondering if there's any way you even want to stay in the industry without losing yourself, right? It's either you get out, find something else, or you stay in and you're just feeling hopeless. And here's the thing is I know exactly how you're feeling. Like literally, probably 15 years ago, I felt the exact same way that you're probably feeling right now. Like just over it, done with the industry, so burnt out. I feel like I've tried everything and still haven't gotten to where I want to be. Um, I'm emotionally drained, energetically drained, physically drained. I I just thought maybe I just wasn't cut out for the industry anymore. So, I'm going to talk to you about how I worked through that process and how I now have a amazing feeling with my business and being in the industry. Like I am lit up every single day. And I will say the industry itself has not changed. What changed was me. What changed was my mindset. What changed was my boundaries and what I was willing to and not willing to put up with anymore. And once I realized that, everything got so much better for me. So let's dive into it. Um, First thing, like we have before we can dive into like what to do, we have to see and realize what mistakes we've been making in order to know where to go, right? So what I've seen so many salon owners or stylists, including what I did when burnout started to creep in is I'm so guilty of this one. And I still have to really work on it. Doubling down and just overworking. thinking that, okay, if I just work harder, if I just double book or triple book or work late or work nights and weekends and sacrifice everything, I'll be a success and I'll make it work. And it's going to finally work this time. And then I can take time off. That is not the case. Because at that point, it's like, even if you do experience success, what is it costing you? And for me, I learned that the cost of hustle, the cost of just sticking through something that's hard and hustling and sacrificing was not worth what I lost. So that's one mistake I see a lot of salon owners do. So the next one I see is stylists and salon owners absorbing their clients' emotions and their staff. So if you're a salon owner, you're absorbing whatever clients you have and your staff's emotions without you setting boundaries, right? So the industry makes us more than hairstylists. Like, we all have heard that we are like therapists for our clients or counselors, and we're that emotional support, which is hard, right? Because we do innately care and we have that emotional connection and we want to support and help our clients through things, but we cannot be the entire emotional support for our clients or for our team. And it's an honor that our clients and our team feel comfortable with us and trust us to have that emotional connection. But we also do not have to carry that emotional load in our own lives, right? And having the right tools to know how to separate, still be there, still be a safe place and support our clients and our team, but not take that emotional load home with us and allow it to affect who we are and how we function day to day. And then the other one that I see, the other mistake I see stylists and salon owners doing is ignoring your own needs. Self-care gets pushed to the back burner because there's no time, no personal time. It's for everybody else, whether it's your clients, your team, your family, your kids, your animals. Everybody else is more important than your own needs and the whole nine. Because when I'm at that point, I feel like a pressure cooker. You know, my Instapot that I use to cook, that's how I feel, right? Like, I know what I'm doing, caring for others, building an amazing business, you know, being there for everyone else is wonderful. And it's magic, right? Like, this is something that I care deeply about. And that is what's in the Instapot, right? And it's building all of these. But when I'm not releasing the pressure off of that Instapot to take care of me, the pressure is just building and building and building. And we know an Instapot is fantastic and can make miracles happen, like cook food super quickly. But if the pressure is not released, then what happens? It explodes everywhere. You've seen many places talk about, like, you know, the dangers of an Instapot or a pressure cooker is that it will just explode when it has been just not listened to, not released. And that's how I felt so many times. And to be 100% transparent, like, it's happened even recently, right? I have to consciously think about, am I taking time for myself and making sure that my energy is protected? So it's not a one time and done. And then the last mistake I see salon owners and stylists making is believing that burnout is just normal. Like this is just how being an entrepreneur is. This is just how a stylist is. It's like almost an unspoken belief in the industry that exhaustion is just a part of the job. That being tired and stressed and emotionally drained means you're doing it right, right? How many times have you heard that or somebody said, like this is just how it is? And you have accepted that unspoken rule without thought of how that is actually going to have a negative consequence on your life, right? So, doesn't have to be that way. And that's what we're going to talk about, right? So, being having those mistakes doesn't mean that you're bound to them. And the thing is like, what's going to happen if you continue to live in those cycles and make those mistakes over and over again is you are going to have physical and mental exhaustion. You're not just tired at the end of the day, you're dreading the next day and the next week or the next year. Your body aches, you're groggy, you can't think straight, and you just don't feel or experience joy anymore. And let's face it, you got into this industry typically, right? I can't speak for everyone, but most of us got into this industry because we love what we do. It's fun. We're creative. We get to talk to people. There's instant transformation, instant gratification of like seeing that transformation and being a positive impact on somebody's life in a matter of hours, right? And I know that is why I got into it. But when I'm physically and emotionally exhausted, none of that matters. And I don't look forward to it, you know? And then the other thing too is like if we don't change our ways, we are going to strain our relationships. When we're burnt out, there is so little of us left to give to anybody else. And we're short with the people who are around us, who care about us. And we're short and frustrated and take it out on our families. We go home and we just don't have time for our family or friends or ourselves. And we are just done. And that is no way to live, right? And we have to think about that too is if we're not taking time to take care of ourselves, a negative consequence, like you think that you're putting out and giving to your family and giving to your clients and your team and your friends by sacrificing yourself. But there is a point that that pressure builds so high that when you explode, your friends, families, kids, work, clients, all will have and feel that negative impact. And it is going to be way worse than taking time in between to care for yourself. They get the best version of you when you care for yourself. And the other thing too, like I was there, I felt this very real consequence is I lost passion. I hated having to go to work every single day. So it felt like a chore. I felt like I just didn't even want to do it anymore. And maybe I should switch careers or jobs or, do something different. I lost all of my passion for an industry that is so fueled with passion and creativity. It's never anything that I ever want to experience again because I am so passionate about what I get to do now that it just fuels me every single day. And then the last thing that you're going to see if you continue down that cycle is emotional overwhelm. When you carry the weight of your clients, their challenges alongside your own, and it feels like there is no room left for you to breathe, to process your emotions, to just take a step back and breathe. Everyone deserves time to breathe. And I get it. I really, really do. I was there. Before I opened my salon, I thought that there was no other way except for just completely leaving the industry altogether. And I'm so glad I didn't, but it took everything in me to start to put those boundaries into place and to recognize the patterns that were keeping me stuck. Right. And I just had to, like, it was that work that you had to put in to slow down in order to speed up. And the salons that I worked at before glorified this whole toxic hustle culture. And I just knew that I couldn't do it anymore. So the alternative was get out or change it. And I chose to change it. And that's why I opened my salon. That my salon was my last ditch effort of, look, I will try this. If it doesn't work, wash my hands and I'm out. I'm going to go find another job and just get out of the industry fully. Thank goodness I allowed that time and that I had that last ditch effort so that I could put my all into something that I knew I wasn't going to run my salon the same way that I had been in these other businesses and these other salons where I managed and was a stylist and, had seen all the different layers. So, there are several different ways to break free from that burnout. But the number one thing, and it all starts with getting really honest with yourself, looking inside and seeing what is actually working for you. What do you want? And what do you want does not mean maybe what you've thought you've wanted forever, right? We have this toxic way of thinking in the industry that like there's a linear path of what we have to do, right? You become a stylist, you work really hard, you get clients, you work extra hard, you keep growing, then you become either an educator or a salon owner. And like there's only this one linear path to go on, which doesn't work for everybody, does not work for everybody. And the only way you're going to know whether that's something you want or something somebody else wants for you is to get really clear on what it is you want. And up until this point, what has worked for you, what has not. And, this is deeper than just surface, right? There's a lot of programs out there that talk about like setting goals and all of that, but it's surface goal setting. It's looking at what, I want this amount of money monthly, or I want this house, or these physical things, which are all valid. And yes, those are things that we should strive for and we get to bring into our goal setting. But the way that I teach it in the academy, in the Holistic Salon Academy, is to go deeper, to look at where do you want your being to be? What kind of person do you want to be? What does your day-to-day life look like? How much time do you want to spend by yourself, with your family, with your friends, at work? What type of relationships do you want to create? And then what kind of, like, how much money do you want to make? But also what kind of vacations do you want to take? What's important to you? It goes so much deeper than just those surface level goals. And that is the step one of just getting really honest with yourself. And then you want to look at, or I'm going to share these personal, sorry, but I want to share one of the most powerful steps you can take to start this type of transformation. Because I know how heavy burnout can feel. And it's something like we're going to talk about something that you can do right now that will not only create a shift in how you feel, but it is also going to create a shift in how you start to run your salon and the relationships around you and what you see, right? So, like I said, the first step is stopping and taking an honest look at what is working and what is not working, both in your personal and your salon life. Because whatever's happening in your personal, 100% will reflect in your business life and vice versa, right? So asking yourself these questions, What drains your energy the most? What habits have you fallen into that are no longer serving you? And if you could design your perfect day, what would that look like? Both personal and in the salon, right? Looking at these questions and asking yourself, like truly, not what others expect you to answer, but what you want. And I know that it sounds really simple, but I promise you, not a lot of people stop and ask themselves these questions. We just kind of get into the same culture as everybody else has and just go, we follow, right? I should be doing this, I should be doing that, instead of what do you actually want in your life? Some stylists want to make $100,000 and they're okay with not being at home as much or missing soccer practices or, football practices or whatever. And some stylists or salon owners do not want to miss those things with their family or, you know, they don't want to sacrifice their travel just to make $100,000. It all depends on what you want. So, looking at that, that's step number one. Ask yourself those questions. And I really highly encourage you, take a pen and paper out, ask yourself, write those questions down, and be honest with yourself about what they are. What are the answers to that? And then once you have those questions, that clarity, your next step is to create boundaries that protect those things that you truly want. So, for example, if you're overworked, it's time to set limits on your schedule. Maybe that means no more evenings or weekends. Maybe that means you're not squeezing that last person in because you want to make extra money. And you're burning yourself out because you're squeezing somebody in the beginning of your shift and you're coming in an hour or two earlier and you're staying an hour or two later and you're exhausted, right? Or maybe you're absorbing too much of your client's energy. So maybe for you, you're practicing setting energetic boundaries. So a simple phrase like, I'm so sorry you're going through this. And I hope talking about it here has been helpful. Like letting them know that they can talk about it and it can be safe, but it's their burden. It's their life. It's their energy and they get to keep that. You don't have to take that on with you, right? And boundaries can look like knowing how to clear your energy before you go work with a client. Set the intention of they get to be safe, talk about what they need to, right? And then it gets to stay right there with them. And then clearing your energy after you've worked with a client that has been heavy or that has, just really feels heavy. You feel that heaviness or the lightness. So learning how to maybe clear and ground your energy after working with that client to allow that to go off and not stay in your energy. So looking at those two steps, like getting really clear and then setting those boundaries for yourself. And then the third step is all about mind shift and perspective, right? Burnout doesn't just come from overworking. It also comes from the way that we view challenges, the way that our belief systems view challenges, obstacles. When we look at it a different way, all of a sudden, the actual situation has not changed, but how we look at it has changed. And that is so powerful. And you can see this, if you've ever you've passed a car crash, right? Let's just say something happens. There's a lot of people around watching it and they see it. They're there to witness an obstacle, like a car crash or something happening. You have 5 people who are there. They witnessed it, they saw it. But because each one of them has a perception of what happened, you're going to get 5 different stories. They were all there. They all witnessed the exact same thing happen, but from their perspective, you get 5 different stories. Who's right? Who's wrong? No one. It's their perception, right? If they come from the belief that it was right or wrong, you're going to get that type of perception. So it is such a big, big change. And this had the greatest impact in my life of being able to shift the perspective or perception of what was actually happening in my life. So when I stopped seeing obstacles as failures or, that I had messed up or that somebody else was wrong, I started to view them as lessons and a way to start to change, right? So if something didn't work out for me, or let's say I had a client who was just really heavy and I felt like I was just taking all of that on, if I shifted my perception of, instead of I had to fix this client's problem and take all of the weight on my shoulders, I shifted it to, I get to just be here to listen, to support, to make sure that this client gets to be seen and heard, but it's not my problem to solve. Just the pure fact of shifting that perspective from this is now my burden to solve to I get to be here to support this person and hear them and just energetically hold space for them, but it's not mine to solve, completely changed the way my relationship with my clients were. They still got the support that they needed, but I no longer took that burden on. So I didn't feel drained and exhausted and just completely overwhelmed after listening to my client needing support because I didn't try to solve the problem. I just was there to support that person. So that was a huge change. And when you look at these 3 steps, getting really honest with yourself, starting to set some boundaries, and then looking at how you are perceiving these obstacles, these challenges, these opportunities, that right there will make a world of difference. And you're going to start to see that you don't feel so burnt out, that you have a little more energy, that you feel energetically open and free because you're not expecting yourself to just push through. You're not expecting to just keep pushing your needs and what you want day in and day out to the back burner, and you're putting those forward. And that is going to help you, but also it will affect every single person that's around you. Energetically, they are going to be so much more drawn to you and caring, and they will feel that you are different. Now, with that said, clients and family and friends that depend on you to be able to like just emotionally dump on you, and they like, we feel that, right? They know like I can emotionally dump on them. They're going to fix the problem. They're going to take all of this on, and then they walk away like feeling lighter. You may lose some of those people, and that's okay. It's a boundary that you start to set that those people will automatically want to stop burdening you, will automatically stop asking you for advice because you have shifted and changed your boundaries. You've shifted your energy and what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with. And I know that that hurts sometimes, to lose clients, to lose relationships, to lose, people who no longer align with what you're willing to put up with. But it's also for the best, because it's not doing you any good to keep those relationships going where it is not reciprocated. If that person does not care about how it's affecting you, or how this is going to negatively affect you, then that person doesn't deserve to be in your energy, be around you. So just prepare yourself for some relationships not working out. And it doesn't have to mean that it's a negative and like it's a messy kind of breakup, if you will. Just let it dissolve naturally, because it will. Once you start to set those boundaries, naturally people are going to either be drawn to you or repelled by you. And that's okay too, right? So giving yourself that space and just gratitude that you are standing for your own values and your own boundaries, and the people meant to be in your life will stay and the people not meant to be in your life will go, and that's okay. So I hope that this has shown you that burnout is not needed in this industry. You don't have to continue to feel that way. And this industry does not have to just feel exhausting and burnt out and overwhelmed and just taking crap from everyone. There's a way to do this where you get the most out of your industry and the people that work with you. And just being able to shift your mindset will make such a big difference in how energized and how much more you start to find your passion in the industry again. So I would love for you to join me in the Holistic Salon Academy to learn how to implement these steps, and not just implement these steps, but like the whole strategies that I have in place for you to like start to look deeper into these things and rewire your brain so that you stop standing in your own way. So you stop being your own worst enemy, right? Getting out of your own way and creating a business and life that you love and that you're passionate about and that it fills you up every single day. We are always going to have obstacles. We're always going to have things happening, not going right. But when you are able to still take care of yourself and conquer those obstacles and shift the perspective around them, all of a sudden, those obstacles, those things that happen, don't take you down. It's a minor, like, little speed bump. And then you're on and you're moving on to the next thing because you know how to handle and work around being burnt out and overwhelmed. Thank you so much for being on this episode. Message me in my DMs, meet me on Instagram. I love having conversations about this, and like, what was your biggest takeaway in this podcast episode? Meet me over in Instagram at Clean Beauty Biz Coach, and thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Impactful Salon Owners Podcast. I hope today's episode gave you valuable insight and inspiration to take your salon to the next level. Before you go, I wanted to remind you that the Holistic Salon Academy is opening up soon. So if you're ready to dive deeper into clean, holistic, and sustainable salon practices and build a truly impactful business, be sure to join the waitlist. By signing up, you'll be the first to access all of the details and exclusive content before anyone else. You definitely don't want to miss out. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed this one, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps to grow the show and reach more salon owners just like you. And lastly, come hang out with me on Instagram at Clean Beauty Biz Coach, where I'm a real life person who loves to connect with you. I'm always in my DMs answering your questions and would love to chat more over there. Thanks again for being here, and remember, every step forward is a step towards lasting change. Until next time.